Warbreaker is probably one of the best standalone fantasy novels I've read in a long time. From a complex magic system, intricate characters, a fleshed out world, and even deep philosophical questions on the nature of faith and the role religion plays in the lives of ordinary people, this book has it all. That, of course, does not mean it is without its flaws as well. I'd like to take a moment to reflect on this amazing book and discuss what I loved about it, and what I feel I genuinely just didn't enjoy. Let's start with the things I enjoyed first, and then we'll move on to the things I found less than enjoyable. Light Song. I'm sure this comes as no surprise to anyone who has read the book. Light Song is one of my favorite characters in the book, and for good reason. He's witty, charming, resourceful, and downright fun to read. His chemistry with Larimar and Blushweaver is just a wild ride to experience, and his ability to lighten up even the most dreary scenes is unmatched. Now, if you've seen my video on Vivenna, you'll know I labeled her as the strongest and most pivotal character in the whole book, and I stand by that. But Lightsong is the most enjoyable one to read for the sheer fun he brings to the story, and I don't think anybody could dispute that fact. The magic system. Yes, I know, it's a Brandon Sanderson novel, so the magic system will, of course, be very well done. But Warbreaker's magic system is far more unique than that of his other well-known standalone, Elantris. Now, don't get me wrong, I really do like the Aeon Door system of Elantris, but we barely see it, and we don't really get a proper feel for the extent of its capabilities. Biochroma and breaths in Warbreaker, however, is far more well developed and upfront. Brandon took the concept of animating inanimate objects along with heightening one's body and senses, mixed in some casual necromancy, and boom, we have the magic system of Warbreaker. Not only is it unique, but it also fits in so well to the world and setting that it would almost feel strange had the magic system been anything else. I wish we had more Warbreaker, or at least a sequel to experience more of this magic system, because it was definitely one of the highlights for me. World building. I briefly touched on this in my previous point, but I think that Warbreaker's world building is absolutely top shelf stuff. It's excruciatingly difficult to fit a well-built world into a single novel, but Brandon knocks it out of the park with this one. From the way the language is built on repeated consonants like Titilia, Halandran, Larimar, Vivenna, etc., to the way that breaths are worked into the very economy and government of the country, everything feels so well thought out. Not once did I feel like the world building was only ankle deep, and more than once I had the feeling that were this turned into a trilogy, there would be more than enough material in the first book alone to expand on and dive into. I know Brandon has said he plans on writing 2 sequel books to Warbreaker, and the world building alone was enough to get me excited for it. Now I know I've spent most of this time praising the novel, but every piece of art has its flaws, and even the biggest fan has to be able to look at what they enjoy critically. So the next few points will focus on what I didn't like or what I felt needed some more work. The Pankal Conspiracy. Okay, so I'm going to come right out and say that I did not like the reveal at the ending. Having the priests actually be the good guys and misunderstood? Great. Having the twist be that the Pankal were behind it? Absolutely not. Look, I understand the motivations and the twist makes logical sense, but I did not feel like there was enough of a setup to make this a satisfying twist. A good and satisfying mystery is reliant on having enough clues for an astute reader to be able to solve it. By all means, leave some red herrings and false leads, but the clues should still be there. Unfortunately, I don't think the breadcrumbs were sufficiently laid out to allow a reader to figure it out. Were there some clues? Sure. Were those clues enough? In my opinion, not really. A good twist ending should leave a reader going, "Oh, now I see. Now that I look back on it, it all makes sense." Or it should have them going, "I knew it. I knew this was the real answer after all." I just don't think the given clues in the novel were of enough substance to actually have led someone to this conclusion. Maybe I'm just a bit slow, and if you are able to figure it out, let me know in the comments, but I firmly believe that this was a failed execution on the twist ending. The ending was too neat. Another part of the ending I wasn't a fan of was just how neatly everything played out, almost like a fairy tale. It was all resolved and wrapped up in a neat little bow. The awakened army? There's a solution. Susebron's missing tongue? There's a solution. Vivenna goes off with Vasher? Ciri stays on with Susebron? Lightsong fulfilled his purpose hinted at early in the book. Look, I'm not saying it was wrong for any of these things to happen. I just think it was done a little too neatly and a little too quickly. Part of the reason for this is what many know as the Sandalanche, an avalanche of action and resolution in the last fifth or quarter of a Sanderson book. It's become kind of a meme in the Cosmere community, and usually it isn't a problem. But when it comes to a mystery plot, the speed at which these things are wrapped up and resolved is just a bit too jarring. Had there been maybe a bit of a longer period after the climactic battle where these things are sorted out a bit slower, maybe it would have gone down a bit better. But the way it was executed felt far too quick, and that resulted in the ending feeling way too clean. Magic system underutilized. This last point really irks me purely because of how much I enjoyed the magic system. Like I said before, the magic in Warbreaker is one of the highlights of the book, and it was really well done. But the problem is that it wasn't given enough screen time to really do it justice. If you like the magic system as much as I did, you'll likely feel the same way. It almost feels like wasted potential. Sure, near the end we got to see some amazing feats by the Awakeners, but I feel like this barely scratched the surface of what was truly possible. The magic system only really comes into its own during the latter third of the book, and that's just not enough time. I think this and the previous point proves that all the great concepts in this book could have done so much better had there just been more time. And I get it, Brandon had to cut things somewhere. A single book can only contain so much. And this is why I'm extremely excited for the possibilities of sequels. As a standalone, this book feels like it's too small to contain all the great concepts and moments within. And the biggest thing to suffer is the magic system. Warbreaker is an amazing book that has many great things going for it. I feel the limited scope severely crippled it in certain areas, but even with those problems, it is an amazing book that's well worth the read. If you're looking for a political mystery with an interesting magic system and amazing characters in your fantasy collection, look no further. Sanderson hit it out of the park with this one, and I look forward to the potential future installments in the series. But that's just my take on Warbreaker. It's definitely one of my favorite standalones, and I don't think any of the negatives I've listed is going to change that. But I'd actually like to hear what you guys have to say. What did you think about Warbreaker, and do you have any suggestions for other Sanderson books I could read? Please let me know in the comments below, and if you like this kind of video and the other videos that I do, I'll be posting these twice a week, so please feel free to subscribe. I'm trying to make my way up to my first 100 subscribers, so everyone helps, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.